I've always carried sharpened rulers. From the age of 10, I'd rub the edges on glass until they were razor thin, test the sting against my skin. A child's curiosity, a way to feel alive. By 15, it was habit, a secret companion tucked in my pocket, a weapon no one could imagine. My friends laughed, called me paranoid. Maybe I was. Maybe that's why I survived. Emma, Ella, Alexandra, and I decided to camp in a forest notorious for disappearances. Rangers warned us, but we ignored it, 17 and invincible in our minds. People had vanished here, people who never returned. We joked about ghosts, laughed to mask unease, but I felt the air change as soon as we stepped under the canopy. Shadows were too dark, sunlight too fractured. By the third day, the forest's strangeness was undeniable. Hoof prints that didn't match any animal, bark scratched as if by claws or hands, traveled in crooked patterns. Birds avoided certain sections. Branches snapped where no one walked. Even insects disappeared. We laughed nervously, but I felt it. Eyes in the trees, watching. The fifth night ended laughter. We were playing truth or dare. Extreme around the fire when a scream ripped through the dark. Sharp, metallic, alien. We froze. I had never heard a sound like it. Emma whimpered. Ella's eyes went wide. Alexandra's hand trembled on her marshmallow stick. Then it emerged. Three-headed, bipedal. The center head severed recently, raw and dripping. The remaining two had no eyes, no nostrils, no mouth, just pits. Its movements were wrong, jerky, limping but fast, calculated. My stomach churned. I reached for my pocket. My fingers closed around the ruler. Childhood habit, sharpened from years of obsession. I slashed at its hind leg. The wood cut clean. It screamed, a grinding, wet, metallic sound that made my teeth ache. Run, I shouted. We bolted barefoot through brambles, roots, uneven forest floor. The creature limped behind us, testing our panic, screeches echoing. We stumbled to a cabin I had glimpsed earlier, abandoned but solid, silent salvation. Inside, dust covered everything. Spider webs shimmered in moonlight. On a table, a journal scrawled in frantic handwriting. Someone hunted, someone died. Last page, a blood-smeared photo of the creature itself. We barricaded the door. Outside, screeches echoed. No wind, no birds. Only the creature, patient. Nights stretched endlessly. Emma swore she heard her boyfriend's voice outside. The forest whispered it, coaxing her. Ella followed blindly. Alexandra and I stayed back, clutching rulers and guns. Minutes became hours. Branches snapped. Shadows moved unnaturally. The creature tested our barricade. By morning, Emma and Ella were gone. Not a trace. Silence weighed heavier than any scream. Birds didn't sing. Insects didn't buzz. Wind avoided us. We searched the cabin thoroughly. Behind a floor panel, remnants of cult rituals. Candles burned to stubs, symbols carved into wood, journals detailing seed processes. Teenagers were planted, fruit harvested to feed the creature, granting life to cultists while feeding horror to the forest. The creature's regeneration made it unstoppable. We tried to call for help. We found a walkie-talkie with absurd range. My sister, a detective, answered. We explained everything. Lost, hunted, trapped. She promised help, but the shadows outside grew closer. The creature circled, patient, calculating. Each night became a psychological trap. It tried the cabin repeatedly, snapping boards, splintering walls. One head peeked through a broken plank. I stabbed at the stump of its severed center head. It shrieked. Guns fired blindly, missing. Panic echoed back at us. Sleep became impossible. Shadows moved without wind. Voices whispered familiar names. Alexandra hallucinated figures in corners, screaming at them. I began doubting my senses. Was the forest alive? Was the creature adapting? On the 9th night, I discovered a hidden cellar. Inside, rotted remains of teenagers, ceremonial tools, blood patterns etched into floorboards like maps. Journals described harvesting, cults manipulating minds, feeding fruit to the creature, and binding the forest to their will. The creature learned quickly. It didn't just hunt, it toyed with us, testing, learning. Emma and Ella were gone. Alexandra and I rationed food, sharpened rulers, and counted minutes like prisoners. Hallucinations intensified. I saw Emma and Ella's faces in walls, whispered their names. Alexandra screamed at shadows. Blood trails appeared, leading nowhere. The forest pressed closer. By the 12th night, the creature's patience snapped. It attacked through the chimney, toppling beams. I blocked it, stabbing at the center stump with the ruler. It shrieked, howled, slashed at the cabin. Adrenaline turned my world into white noise. Heart pounding, ears ringing, eyes tearing. We attempted traps, learned its limping pattern, adapted to its cunning. Every night became life or death. Shadows, sounds, hallucinations, and the relentless patient predator. We heard whispers. Sometimes it wasn't the creature. It was Emma and Ella's voices, coaxing, begging, crying. The forest warped reality. Doors seemed farther than they were. Stairs stretched. Shadows flickered faster than the eye could follow. By the 15th night, the creature had begun testing our minds. We found a mirror in the cabin's attic. My reflection moved a beat after I did. Alexandra's reflection screamed silently. We smashed it, but the feeling remained. The forest had seeped inside. Finally, police arrived at dawn. Alexandra and I were filthy, shaking, traumatized. The cult was caught, the creature subdued by nets, firearms, and chemical sedatives. Emma and Ella were never found. The forest gave nothing back. Even after the creature was contained, it haunted me.